Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. In this discussion, I want to explore a topic that's been quietly reshaping the business landscape here in the United States: the impact of the ongoing tariff tensions between the US and China, especially on small businesses. While the broader economic and political debate often makes headlines, the everyday struggles and adaptations of small business owners often go unheard. In 2025, with the continuation and, in some sectors, the escalation of tariffs between the two countries, these effects are becoming even more pronounced. To understand the stakes, let's start with a little background. Since 2018, tariffs have been used as a strategic tool in US-China relations, originally targeting steel, aluminum, and high-tech components. While some were rolled back or suspended in the early 2020s, a new wave of tariff reinstatements emerged in late 2024, particularly targeting electronics, raw materials, and consumer goods. These new duties, often in the 15 to 25% range, have begun to affect everything from input costs to inventory availability, and the most vulnerable to these shifts are our small and mid-sized businesses. If you've got thoughts on this, I'd love to hear them. Leave a comment down below. And if this kind of discussion is helpful or insightful for you, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you stay updated on future uploads. Thanks for being here and supporting the channel. Now let's talk about the first major area of impact: supply chains. Small businesses that rely on Chinese manufacturing are facing some real headwinds. Imagine a boutique electronics brand that sources circuit boards or batteries from Shenzhen. Tariffs have added significant costs to each unit they import, costs that they often can't absorb. Unlike large corporations, small firms usually don't have the resources to renegotiate supply contracts, build alternate sourcing pipelines in other countries, or invest in domestic manufacturing. And it's not just tech. Apparel companies, furniture retailers, even beauty product startups that source packaging or ingredients from China, many are feeling the squeeze. What's worse, the lack of predictability in tariff policies makes it hard to plan. Businesses place orders 6 months out, and by the time the goods ship, new tariffs may have come into effect. This uncertainty disrupts inventory cycles and cash flow, forcing owners to keep smaller stockpiles or take expensive risks. Ultimately, some businesses are forced to pass those costs onto consumers, while others eat the loss, threatening their bottom line. Next, let's look at how these tariffs are creating pricing dilemmas. In 2025, inflation has cooled a bit overall, but for small businesses dependent on imports, the tariffs are like a personal inflation tax. They're increasing costs at a time when consumers are already watching their spending. Take a home goods store importing lighting fixtures from China. A 20% tariff might mean an additional $15 or $20 per item. Raise the price and customers balk or go to Amazon. Keep the price the same and profit margins vanish. For businesses that already operate on tight margins, say 5 to 10%, that's potentially devastating. And let's not forget service providers. Even if a small business doesn't directly import goods, many of their vendors and suppliers do, so the price hikes ripple through the system. For example, a custom t-shirt printer may face higher costs on blank tees, screens, and inks, all imported components. Over time, this cumulative pressure forces hard choices: cut staff, reduce marketing, limit inventory, or accept shrinking profits. For many small firms, especially in retail and manufacturing, it's starting to feel like a death by 1,000 cuts. Still, it's not all doom and gloom. One of the more inspiring aspects of this challenge is seeing how resilient and innovative small businesses can be. Many are exploring alternate sourcing options: Vietnam, India, Mexico, even the US, though domestic production often comes at a higher price. Others are investing in automation or leaner logistics to reduce cost elsewhere. Some are rebranding to focus on Made in America angles, appealing to consumers who value domestic production even at a premium. And let's not overlook the rise of collaborative purchasing networks. Small retailers and manufacturers are banding together to buy larger bulk orders and split shipping and tariff costs, which helps level the playing field a bit. We're also seeing a push toward digital products or services that reduce dependence on physical goods. An arts and crafts retailer may pivot to selling downloadable templates instead of importing materials. Or a wellness brand might shift toward coaching and subscriptions instead of physical products. While not every business has this flexibility, the ones that can pivot are showing that survival, even success, is possible in a tariff-heavy environment. So what lies ahead? As of early 2025, there are mixed signals. Some policymakers are calling for a strategic decoupling from China, which could mean even more tariffs or restrictions ahead. Others advocate for targeted relief, such as exemptions for small businesses or critical sectors. The reality is, trade policy is a slow-moving and politically complex beast. For now, the best move for small businesses is to stay informed, agile, and proactive. Lobbying groups like the National Federation of Independent Business and local chambers of commerce are starting to press for policy changes, and small business voices will be key in shaping that conversation. In conclusion, while the US-China tariff battle may seem like a high-level geopolitical chess game, its real-world consequences land squarely on the shoulders of small business owners. Their challenges, from rising costs to supply chain shocks, are real and immediate, but so is their ingenuity. By staying adaptable and advocating for smarter policy, small businesses can not only endure, but shape a more resilient economic future. Thanks for listening, and I hope this gave you some insight into the real-world ripple effects of tariffs in today's global economy. Let's take these final few minutes to dive into that last point. Why industrialization can't just bounce back in America because of tariffs, and why expecting that to happen is misguided at best and damaging at worst. Industrial manufacturing is a system, not a switch. Rebuilding it means reestablishing entire ecosystems, machine tool shops, logistics hubs, skilled labor pools, and supplier networks. Right now, many of those systems no longer exist here. We don't just lack the factories, we lack the suppliers that feed those factories. We lack the trained workers who know how to run and repair the machines. Even basic components like screws or plastic casings are almost entirely imported. Even if a company wanted to manufacture in the US, the challenges are immense. Labor costs are higher, energy prices are inconsistent, and regulations can be complex to navigate. Add to that a skills gap in the workforce. Many young Americans simply haven't been trained in industrial trades, and you have a massive roadblock to scaling domestic production quickly. Also, automation isn't the silver bullet many hope it will be. While robotics and AI can streamline production, the upfront costs are enormous, and automation doesn't create the kinds of widespread middle-class jobs that 20th century industrialization once did. So, while tariffs may raise the price of imports, they don't magically build factories. They don't create machine shops or welders or electrical engineers. They don't train a workforce, and they certainly don't replace the global networks we've spent decades constructing. This means that the businesses being punished by tariffs, many of whom want to buy American, are caught in a bind. They can't find local suppliers and they can't afford the imports. It's a lose-lose situation until the US makes a serious, coordinated investment in domestic industrial capacity, education, infrastructure, and capital incentives all included. And even then, we're talking about a 10 to 20-year timeline to see major results. In the meantime, we need trade policies that recognize reality, not just ideology. Supporting small businesses with targeted tariff relief, low-interest loans, and domestic sourcing grants could be a better way forward than blanket penalties that punish everyone in the system. Closing line. So while the 145% tariffs are making a lot of noise in the headlines, the quiet reality for small business owners is this: they're being asked to pay the price for a long-term promise that may never materialize. And for working families already stretched thin, it's just another cost added to a growing list. Tariffs may serve a political purpose, But if we truly care about rebuilding American industry, we need a much bigger, longer-term strategy, one that doesn't leave our small businesses and our people behind. Thank you again for being here. Let's keep pushing for smarter solutions and a fairer future for everyone.